So, St. Andre Catholic School is opening in January, and Principal Bria is creating a beautiful new computer lab. He would like to have a mixture of desktop and laptop computers in the space and has a budget of $13,500 for the entire project, which includes the purchase of computers and new furniture. The room measures 8 meters by 6 meters, and there is a door that requires 2 meter by 2 meter clearance surrounding the entrance to the room. The laptop computers cost $500 plus 13% sales tax, but does not require the purchase of a new desk since student desks can be used. All chairs will be shipped from either St. Philip Neri or St. Gerard Majella at no extra cost. Desktop computers cost $200 plus 13% sales tax and require a larger desk that costs $85 plus 13% sales tax. Desks that will be used for the desktop computers each measure 1.2 meters by 1 meter and require an additional 0.5 meter clearance for pulling out the chair. Desktop computers also need to be placed near an electrical outlet that is located by the walls of the room. The student desks that will be used for laptops measure slightly smaller at 0.6 meters by 0.6 meters and require the same chair clearance of 0.5 meters. The laptops are cordless and can be placed anywhere in the space. So what I've done is I've highlighted a couple of your ideas, and I've created little models based on some of the ideas that you've used in your solutions. This little green blob here is a desktop computer. The yellow is the clearance that we calculated. So this picture represents the desktop with the clearance. This little picture over here represents the laptop with the clearance. Since the desktop is cheaper, I know that I could actually fit more desktops in the room, but since they have to be against the wall, I'm limited as to how many desktops I can put in the room. We had 8 meters and 6 meters. Let's create the room by using our model. I have 1.2 right times 5 computers that we've put along the side here, so we're at 6 meters, so these 5 computers will fit in nicely. Here, so we've added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 computers along the wall, and we notice we already did the calculation. 1.2 times 5, and we got 6. So these 5 add up to 6. And if we add our 1.5 meters of clearance, we get 7.5. Okay, and notice that what's left over is 8 minus 7.5, which is equal to 0.5. And 0.5 is less than 1.2, so we can't fit another desktop along that wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shade that region with a little bit of yellow, and I'm going to label it 0.5. Now I can start building the second part of my wall. So I just want to do a check here, and I want to bring into remember that this width here, we can see it's upside down, but this width is 1.5. And we can do a little test here. 1.2 times 3 is 3.6. Now plus 1.5, we have 6 plus 5 is 11. 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And remember that we also have to have this 2 meters of clearance. So if I add that 2 meters of clearance, 5 plus 2, I'm already over 6 meters. And that means we have to remove one of these little spaces here. What I'm left with, if I bring this down, okay, 1.2 times 2 equals 2.4, plus 1.5, plus 2 And it looks like we fit perfectly right just under that 6 meter mark that we need to be in, with 0.1 left over. So I'm just going to shade that in, and this is 0.1 left over. So let's see how many desktops will fit along the top of our room. Now I'm starting to get close, so let's do a little test calculation. So remember, we have 1.5 up here. 3 times 1.2 is 3.6. Okay, and we can add 1.5, and we can add 2, and we're left with 7.1. 8 minus 7.1 is 0.9. 0.9 is less than 1.2, so we can't fit another desktop in there, so I'm going to shade it yellow for now. Okay, so there's a nice start, and I know it's just coming together, and there is lots of little calculations all over the place, but now we get a nice visual as to how many desktops will nicely fit in here with the clearance, right? With the clearance built into our design. So now we can see that what we're left over, right? If we do a quick calculation, right? If I subtract 1.5 and 1.5 from 8, right? I have 8 minus 1.5 minus 1.5, and I should end up with 8 minus 3, which is 5. And if I'm going this way here, I have 1.5 and 1.5. Add that together, I get 3. Minus from 6, I'm left with 3 meters. So the next part of our problem is to see how many laptops we can fit into this space right here. But first, let's check in with our budget to see where we're at, see how much money we have left over for our laptop. Let's take a second to write down some of the given information. So the price of a laptop computer was $500, and the price of a desktop computer was $200. But every desktop needed a desk, which cost $85. Because for every desktop I need a desk. 200 plus 85 is $285. And if I want to quickly do my tax, I can multiply by 1.13. And if I use my calculator, I get $322.05. Now from my diagram, let's count how many desks that we fit into our room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 times 322. So since that's the maximum number of desktops, I can see how much money we have left over if I subtract it from my total budget. So if I subtract 4,830.75 from my total, and use my calculator, get 8,669.25. Now, how many laptops can I buy with this much money? Well, let's do our quick tax again. So 500 times 1.13, I get $565. So it costs $565, one laptop with tax. Now for the total number of laptops that I could buy, that they won't necessarily fit, we haven't checked that yet, but let's see the total number that we could buy, and we can divide by 565. Equals 15.34. Now since we can't buy 0.34 of a laptop, we can buy a maximum of 15 laptops. Now let's check to see if we can fit these in our. So let's use this video, let's use the same idea and see if we can fit 15 laptops in our new space that we've created. Now we have a nice little model, just like we did with our desktop computers, of our laptop computers plus the clearance. Now I got a couple spaces here that I can examine right off the bat. Now 0.1 is the width that I have here, and 0.1 is much smaller than 0.6. There's no way that I could fit a laptop in this little space right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shade that in yellow. Okay, but I do have a space over here that's 0.9 meters wide. Now 0.6 is less than 0.9, so I can actually fit one laptop in here. Now we can start working with the center of our space, and I think it makes sense to to start at the edge of our clearance. And I guess I'm going to put the clearance together because, it's always nice to have a nice spacious room to walk around, and also for fire safety and for fire code, if we have too many things in the room and people can't safely walk, and you can also remember that people with wheelchairs, it's a lot easier for people to move around when there's lots of space. So let's put the clearance together and see how this works out. I just want to remember that we had 5 meters. We had 5 meters along the length and 3 meters along the width to work with. So if we do a quick little check here, and we go 5 divided by 0.6, we can get an idea of how many laptop computers we can fit along the width of the room. So 8.3. So since I can't put 0.3 of laptops, it means I could fit 8 laptops safely across the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we have a nice little bit of clearance there. So right now we currently have 8 plus 1, we have 9 laptops. So we have to fit 6 more across. Now why don't we face them together? So remember we had 15 and we have 9 in there right now. So we're looking to get 6 along here. 4, 5, 6. And it's nice, we have a nice little bit of clearance around the room, and you'll see here if you wanted to bring these desks closer together, and then you could have even more clearance for wheelchairs and things like that. There's a nice look at the design, and now let's see how much of our budget we have left over. Now we managed to fit 15 laptops and 15 desktops in our design. The total amount for the 15 desktops is $4,830.75. Now the total amount for the laptops is 15 times 565, 8,475. Now if we add both of these together, $13,305.75. Now how much do we have left over? Well, we have 13,500 minus $13,305.75. For $194.25 left over. Now I'd say that if we went to IKEA, we could probably manage to buy a nice teacher's desk so that I can sit in the room with you as we enjoy our new computer lab. So thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this problem. And there are many possible ways that you can come to a solution to this problem. So I encourage you to try this problem, make your own designs and come up with your own calculations, and you can actually send them to me. I'd love to see them. So thank you, and continue thinking differently about mathematics and building your mathematical mindsets.